speak to the vast majority of human needs that we as human beings all have. And it is necessary to speak out about human rights and to organize ourselves around these principles, these rights that speak to who we are and that what we have, whether we are aware of them or whether or not they're recognized, we have them because we're human.
He handcuffed me and took me a couple more times in the night. Then put me in the car and drove around, beating me a little bit. And we got to the police station, took me out and threw me on the ground and put his gun to my hand and said that if I told anybody that he done that he was going to kill me.
What Jon Burge did was racist to the core, because what he did, he targeted out African Americans. It was not African Americans who had money. It was poor African Americans. So now you come from a high crime community and you walk inside the courtroom. Some of these men come from Cabrini Green and Robert Teller housing projects. So the judge looks at it that based off of where you come from, you guilty.
Letter to my native son. Mine is a torture of a different kind, of a brutality that comes from a mother's beaten and battered mind, of not so happy images of colored boys like you, native sons of Chicago mother's womb, praying daily that this bubble of a life that we've tried to create for you doesn't become some not made for TV sequel of the movie Crash. Because somebody can't get past their isms, even when the oath they took made them swear that they were supposed to.
This past year, I was fortunate enough to work with Young Chicago Authors and Columbia College and Northwestern's law clinic to work on this book that we put together called Until I Am Free, Voices of Youth Sentenced to Life Without Parole. And over the course of the last year, we were corresponding with the 104 youth sentenced in the state of Illinois as juveniles to life without the possibility of parole. We were doing a poetry project where I'd send them poems, they would respond, me and some of the folks at Young Chicago Authors would respond, and we just went back and forth. And so this past May, we put out a small anthology of 34 of those poems. I'd like to read one of those poems to you. It's called The Shadows of Racist Injustice by Jamie Jackson. 17 years of age, full of rage. I was forced to play center stage, displayed on the front page of the Daily News, charged with the crime by design, because I was a young black man caught up, wrong place, wrong time. My worst nightmare has become a lasting reality. Mentally abused by the boys in blue, I never realized the police could be so cunning. Convinced my childhood homie to lie and turn state's evidence. Use him like a puppet, spoke through him like a ventriloquist. My life is all about the struggle. Working diligently to be free from these miserable walls of captivity. It's very difficult, trapped behind 30-foot walls. Alienated, surrounded by unnatural conditions, unhealthy mentally, physically and spiritually, thinking of suicide where many have tried and some have died. This system has no heart. The scales of justice unbalanced, weighed heavily against Africans and Latinos. The minority in society is the majority in prison. What type of society is this that gives a young man under 18 natural life? What happened to rehabilitation? I'm going to continue fighting until I'm free.
So I wanted to have an opportunity for us to take a moment of silence to be able to honor the courage of those individuals who were victimized by Jon Burge, who have in any way been victimized by the police, who live in terror from mothers, who raise brown or black children with the fear that they may be brutalized or they may be incarcerated. incarcerated or that may be killed, that we take a moment of silence and that we really just look inside of our hearts and we say, change. We say different in our hearts. And after we reach past that moment of silence, I'm going to start off reading off the list of names of those victims of torture. Rodney Maston, Lindsay Smith, Clarence Hill, Anthony Holmes, Lawrence Corey, Howard Collins, Virgil Robinson, Leroy Sanford, James Lewis, Edward James, George Powell, Ollie Hammonds, Tony Thompson, Willie Porch, Raymond Golden, Timothy Thompson.
Any you and any yours can crash into somebody who hates that you exist and wipe you away with a badge and a pen stroke of the hand. I've been thinking some, and I've been worried. Maybe Chicago should not be our native land, and until everyone speaks up and more justice is done, maybe this is no place for you.